ripple of bear. I don't care. It's quite a rough ride, just like life. But I'm kinda patient, 'cause only time will tell. It's gonna go up, so you better stay calm. Grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow. It is about 10 a.m. my time. I don't know what time you're going to finally see this. Depends on how long it takes me to upload. But it is Monday, and I generally do like to do videos on Monday because typically there's a lot of stuff that happens over the weekend, and I often feel it's worth discussing. So I figured here we go. First thing to address, I am going to be out at the Bitcoin 2022 convention in Miami Beach. That is April 6th through the 9th. Not only am I going to be there, but I'm also going to this big party. This is Diplo, bass jackers, like all kinds of stuff, all kinds of people. I think BitBoy might be coming, some other YouTubers. I'm trying to get a group of us all together to go hang out, and I think we might have a table and such. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This is actually going to be on Wednesday night, April 6th. Check this out. If you're not familiar, check it out. I'll post a link to this in the description. You can get your tickets. Basically, you can spend as much as you want, apparently, depending on what you want. But my wife and I are going to be here, and a lot of other people. I mean, this is the only party that I really know of happening on April 6th. So that makes it pretty good. We're going to be there a little early because, basically one day travel. But I am going to be out at the convention in Industry Day, and I'm going to be walking around. I'm going to be gathering business cards and talking to different people, different projects and things. So I would like to attend some of these speakers. So we'll see. I'd love to meet some of them, honestly. But who knows? I'm not sure how that's all going to be set up, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. A lot of stuff going on at these conventions. And what better time? What better time than to start celebrating, because it looks like we're pumping. And this has been a very nerve-wracking thing for me because nothing that I have seen in the current price of Bitcoin, the recent price of Bitcoin, or any other cryptocurrencies has been what I've expected. I mean, it just hasn't. And I know that there are a lot of outliers, and there are a lot of different things associated with this. Bitcoin's currently trading at 47,754. This is after basically a low 36,000 in February, which some are saying may very well have been the bottom. And I know that a lot of you guys are like, but Crow, you've been saying you expect to see a bottom at around 26,000, because I've been looking and waiting for this Bitcoin's price to move down and touch on this 200 weekly moving average, which has always basically been the bottom. Like once the price hits that 200 weekly moving average, that's typically the bottom is in. We move up from there. And that's not happening. A lot of people are saying that open interest is the big reason for this, because a lot of people were long and they kept getting, liquidated long, and now they've changed to shorts, and then now they're being liquidated on shorts. I mean, it's almost like the open interest market is at this point dictating the price action of the crypto space, not necessarily, the retail psychology, because the whales are in play, man. I mean, and these guys are playing with tens of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars. And we're seeing a lot of stuff going on. Currently, Cardano's trading at $1.24. I will let everybody know I didn't buy back in full, but I did buy some Cardano today. Okay. And here's the thing, a lot of you guys out there, I can tell who's new to crypto. I can tell who's new to me, just based on the comments, both in my videos and on Twitter. The people that have been following me for years, or that kind of understand me and have been following me since 2017, for that matter, you guys get it. You know my place, you know my position. I've been accumulating Cardano for years, man. This has never been about a quick play for me. Cardano is still my favorite project, and for whatever reason, it is still kind of the black sheep of the crypto space in terms of media and so forth. And I honestly think a lot of that is because, Ethereum came first. And I think I think there are a lot of reasons why a lot of the media and people really take to Ethereum, even against all odds. I mean, even against the bottlenecking, the insane fees, all of that. Ethereum came first, with smart contracts. And I think that Cardano, basically looking to blow the roof off of pretty much everything out there, especially once Hydra officially kicks off, and a lot of these other protocols that increase its interoperability, and just there's so much, right? And there's so much that's happening. Cardano is still my favorite project, and I think that at some point Cardano may very well flip Ethereum. Will it be by the end of this year? No, I'm sure it's not, because the institutions are buying into what's safe. Ethereum is much safer. However, I want to make it a point. These institutions and these whales are very, very well aware of what's happening with Cardano. And but if you look at it from a purely speculative angle, Ethereum right now is potentially a better play, because when Ethereum jumps before Cardano does, and Cardano falls before Ethereum does, because we're still waiting on so many of these fundamentals to be put in place in terms of Cardano. We're waiting for Hydra. We're waiting for, I know that they just, I'll get to some of the articles and things here. I do have a couple paid segments toward the end, but I've got one on Solidus, AI Tech, and then ZoomX. It's a derivatives exchange. Always be careful on a derivatives exchange, but those are coming towards the end of this video. Overall, though, I mean, it looks like, I don't know, was the bottom 37,000? I still have a really hard time believing that, but, this could be, we could have basically seen a temporary, like a short-term bear market, and we might be very well turning around. Now, I want to go into one other metric here, and this is the pi cycle top oscillator, or indicator, sorry. And we have an extremely wide spread here, okay, between these two moving averages. And you see how they closed all the way up here, which is basically where I called the peak of the market, right? Now, we still haven't come over 50 grand in Bitcoin yet, but that could happen any day now from the looks of things. Cardano, I exited my Cardano position around about $1.40. I mean, initially I started getting out at about $2, because I had put some Cardano in a stop limit order, and it hit like twice at $2. I'm like, okay, well, that's gone. So that was kind of accidental, but it was kind of like I was starting to get a little nervous, like what's happening here. And then finally I just said, okay, I think we're going much lower, and I sold at $1.46. And I do make plays with my own personal money that I would never advise other people to make. And I know some people that, I get a little flack on Twitter, like, oh yeah, look at you making these trades and you're not telling us until 2 weeks later. And it's like, because I don't know. Just because I'm doing it doesn't mean I think everybody should. And I'm okay with some of the risks that I take in the crypto space. And, that was a gut-wrenching move for me. And so, yeah, I waited a while before I told everybody, because I don't want everybody doing what I do. Because if I'm wrong, the blowback on me being wrong in situations like that are going to far outweigh any praise I'm going to get for being right. Okay. And I'm not here to hurt people. I'm not here try and play it all off like I'm Mr. Know-It-All. Follow me, give me your likes or subscribes, and make sure you pay attention to every word I say because it's all gospel. I don't look at myself that way at all. I'm a thinker. I'm a contemplator. I'm a worrier. I worry about everything that I do in the crypto space. I never want to step on toes. I never want to hurt anyone. I don't want anything bad to happen to anyone. I want us all to prosper together. And when I make big, substantial moves, I don't always jump straight to YouTube and say, look what I did. Look what I did. You should follow me. I don't want that. I want people to be educated. I watch what I do on YouTube is because I want people to watch what I do and learn from it. I don't want you to copy me. Okay. I make mistakes. I'm not always right. I know it's hard for some of you to believe that I could be wrong sometimes, but it happens. I kid. I'm always right sometimes. So that's what I'm seeing here. We've got a huge spread on the pi cycle top, and this could close by June? I mean, maybe. Do we have a 3-month pull? Where we start to really shoot up until maybe June. I mean, do we have a few months? How high could we get? Could we have the blow off top we've all been waiting for to take us to $100,000 in a few months? I don't know, maybe. Because honestly, what I'm seeing right here now, what I'm also seeing though is we're seeing volume. Gosh, it's tough. I mean, this is on a daily. Oh, I'm sorry, this is weekly. Let me go to a daily real quick. Hopefully it loads. Yeah. All right. So on a daily chart. Wow. Okay. I mean, we're seeing some bullish patterns here, and it's tough. I mean, are we going to bounce off of this moving average on a daily chart, or are we going to break through it? I guess we'll know here soon. I mean, we're looking at 48.3. So if we break above 48.3, we might start making this moving average resistance, but this is a 200 on a daily chart, so it's probably not going to mean as much, but we'll see. I mean, yeah, my guess is as good as anyone's. And I get a lot of messages like, hey, what's happening? Everything's pumping. Cardano's at 33.7. This all looks good, but Ethereum's at 33.7. That all looks good, but honestly, until Ethereum breaks above the $4,000 mark, I'm chilling. I'm chilling like a villain. Cardano at $1.23. It was at $1.24 when I started this, and it's kicked back about a half a penny. So we'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. If you haven't liquidated, maybe you're in a good spot. I mean, if you sold higher, then maybe it's a good time to maybe start averaging in a bit, which is ultimately what I'm doing to see what happens. When I exited for a lot of specific reasons. I needed to make sure that I was in a good place. And there's a lot of stuff happening in the world that is truly scaring the holy bejesus out of me. And I don't know exactly what role cryptocurrency is going to play in it. I know that legally some things are, happening. U.S. e-cash bill proposes digital currency that replicates cash and bypasses the Fed. A United States House bill proposes a Treasury-issued hardware secured and anonymous form of digital cash. Nothing's anonymous, man. Nothing's anonymous. I see people posting comments on my YouTube channel sometimes, and you're not as anonymous as you think you are. Let me just tell you that right now, especially if you know people. Letting you know, the Electronic Currency and Secure Hardware Act, eCash Act, introduced today in the United States House of Representatives, could herald a new direction in government-sponsored digital currencies. The legislation calls for the U.S. Secretary of Treasury to develop and pilot an electronic version of the U.S. dollar that is easy to use for the economically marginalized or technically challenged. You can go on to read this, but there's a lot to it, and it's a cool article. Look it up if you're interested. I'm not going to read the whole thing because I just don't want to read full-blown long articles right now. But CBDC is going to be where it's at, and I think that that's the direction that a lot of things are going. And I have a whole perspective on that I'll share at some point. Cardano sidechain project set to bring EVM compatibility after mainnet launch. Blockchain startup DC Spark's novel sidechain project named Milkameda, which will allow EVM compatible smart contracts to be executed from the Cardano mainnet, is expected to have its mainnet launch today. Furthermore, the Milkamita project promises in future to deliver interoperability between Cardano and other layer 1 blockchains such as Solana. Whoopie-doo. This sounds great, right? But who are the people making this claim? You can read all about it. Just one more thing that's kind of happening. Looking at Crow node. For those of you that don't know, now you know. This is Crow. This is my node. If you're not delegating to it, I implore you to. I ask you kindly, delegate to the node. It's not going anywhere. I don't care what happens to Cardano's price, my stake, my pledge. It's staying there. I've always had 100,000 on there, and I know a lot of other node operators are like, look at my node, I've pledged so much more than Crow. Crow doesn't believe. They try to FUD me. Suck it. I mean, it is what it is. I put what I was comfortable in there, and it's been working very well. I mean, 96% luck. Okay, my lifetime luck is pretty good. So yeah, I mean, and I know that people have been telling me, hey, we're coming back. I mean, people have been moving their delegations to different things to get different rewards, and that's cool. I get all that. At one point, it was at like 80 million. I mean, it was like getting so oversaturated, and then I started a secondary node and this and that. So, but yeah, you're welcome back. I would like to see this start making a big comeback, and I'd like to get back into, I'd like to see 60% saturation again, at least. That would be very, very nice. I've always been here for you. Don't forget that. Here's what's sustaining the latest Bitcoin surge, according to analytics from firm Glassnode. A leading crypto analytics firm is looking at what's under the hood of Bitcoin to see what's powering Bitcoin's latest rally. In a new video, Glassnode says that short sellers, or those that were betting on the sustained drop of Bitcoin's price, were responsible for carving out a bottom for Bitcoin. Basically saying that 37,000 seemed to be the bottom of the Bitcoin price. And I still, and maybe it is, maybe it was for this short, maybe if we were experiencing a short-term bear market, not a 2-year full cycle. But that's still coming, even if we haven't had it, and that's not what's been happening. It's coming. I mean, maybe it does, maybe it hasn't happened. Maybe it's not coming in the very, very short term, but I still think it's coming. But we might get a bigger lead on things, and when we might break where we originally were. We might break a $64,000 Bitcoin, and who knows? Maybe we break a $4 or $5 Cardano over the next several months. I mean, at this point, I'm thinking it's possible. And if there's one thing that's true about the crypto space, anything is possible. For better or worse, anything is possible. And what is impossible is to be right all the time. According to Glassnode, another metric that shows the growing demand for Bitcoin is Bitcoin's number of accumulation addresses. The Insight firm defines the metric as the number of addresses that continue to add Bitcoin to their stacks. Over the recent weeks, we note how much this has ticked higher. Very, very significant uptick in overall accumulation balance. So it's showing that we do have more and more people in the immediate term who are stacking. It's painting a picture that we've got short squeeze on one side, but it also appears that there's a true organic demand that we can see through address growth. So that's definitely, people are stacking and accumulating. Cardano completes network upgrade. ADA reacts to the upside. This is 3 days ago, but it's good info. While Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies by market cap move sideways, Cardano's reaction to the upside could be driven by its increase in the number of projects building on its ecosystem and recent improvements implemented on the network. Cardano's developer IOG has been focused on optimizing and improving the network. Today, this company revealed their latest update proposal to increase the per block Plutus script memory units limits from 56 million to 62 million. The update, the company clarified, will aid in the network scalability. Plutus is one of Cardano's most recent components as the network made a transition to implement smart contract capabilities. This is all good, and it's going to help benefit the DeFi space for sure, which is growing on the Cardano blockchain. And I kick my fan on. It gets a little hot with these lights and stuff in here. I think that the sky is absolutely the limit for Cardano, and I always have. Whether I've sold, me selling a crypto asset isn't me saying I no longer believe in it. I think that's just what some of the fudders want people to believe, and I think that some of the people that don't like Cardano because they hold something else, when I exited some positions, they used that to try and FUD the project, and that's bullshit. And those of you guys that have been following me for years know better. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Everybody's always looking for an angle to try and help their own bags. And I mean, it's, the tribalism in the crypto space is significant. And I'm part of it, quite frankly, because I'm not big on Solana. I mean, quite honestly, never really have been. For a lot of reasons I pointed out in multiple videos. But if people decide to be blind to a lot of that, or the reasoning behind it, well, I mean, that's their prerogative. Invest in what you believe in. A good friend of mine, he's always blowing me up in my phone. He loves Hedera Hashgraph. And he's, and I agree with him. I think Hedera Hashgraph could be a very, very lucrative project. And I think that they're doing a lot of really interesting, cool stuff. I might even start diving deeper into it myself because I was really bullish on it very long ago. It just hasn't seemed to have done much. Like most other projects in the crypto space, if it's not directly related to a DeFi application or NFTs, it's probably not going anywhere in the very near future. But long term, now could be a really fruitful time to get into Hedera Hashgraph because what they've got coming down the pipe, it could be really fruitful. Crypto Codex, $600 billion Bitcoin and crypto boom pushes the price of Ethereum, BNB, XRP, Solana, and Cardano higher. A lot of what we already know, which is cool. Here's what's next for Cardano after recent rally, according to analyst Jason Pizzino. Analyst and trader Jason Pizzino is examining the price action of Cardano after the seventh largest crypto asset by market cap rose by over 30% in the past week. Yeah, it's crazy. In a YouTube update, Pizzino tells his 262,000 subscribers that Cardano could be in the midst of a relief rally after having gone through one of the longest bearish periods in its history. Now, and this is true because if we look at Cardano and we kind of break things down, it's just been bearish, man, bearish. Now, if you look here though, we pumped back up to $1.26 and then boom, slammed right back down. I'm hoping that doesn't happen here. But I mean, hell, from the peak at $3.15, it's just continued to move down ever since, bottoming out somewhere around 75 cents. Now we're moving back up, $1.23. And if you look at Ethereum, it's been doing, it's really been similar. But if you look at previous price history of Cardano, we notice that sometimes it can just go on an absolute tear all on its own and leave a lot of other things in the dust. Okay. But if you look here, I mean, this is Ethereum, and you've got Ethereum over here, which it's hard to see because my big noggin. But if you got Ethereum here and then Cardano here, they look very, very similar in terms of price action and movement. And that is, to me, not really the greatest thing in the world because, what I see is I see Cardano's price, it'll lead, it'll go up, and it'll surpass Ethereum over a 7-day period or whatever, and then it'll go stagnant while Ethereum continues to go up. And it's this weird cat and mouse game that the two seem to play with each other. And it's frustrating, quite frankly, because I really want to see Cardano just take over Ethereum altogether. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing. So, but this guy, I mean, he thinks things are getting ready to move up. Cardano is exchanging hands for $1.09 at time of writing, down over 3% in the last 24 hours. Well, it's obviously up since then. So, good. I think it'll probably continue for a bit. I just don't know how long. And while I have the majority of my assets that I basically liquidated at higher prices, I've got a sum of money that I'm considering my seed capital for starting over, so to speak, and to try and get this train going again. For as long as whatever bullish momentum we have growing happens. So we'll see. Cardano ecosystem grows as peer-to-peer lending may be introduced in May. I think I've talked about this recently in a paid segment, but they're going, they're going on to push their thing. So according to the announcement from the ADA Finance project, peer-to-peer lending powered by the Cardano ecosystem is getting ready for the launch of the first version of the protocol in May 2022. So basically what they're saying is this is going to be similar to like Celsius Network, but it's not. I mean, let's just be honest. It's not Celsius Network. It doesn't have the same team, the same, leader. It doesn't have the same anything ultimately, but it is going to be built specifically on the Cardano blockchain with similar functionality and things. And it's a peer-to-peer platform. Now, and this stuff is great because this is, I think, ultimately what we need. And I'm gonna go. We're about 25 minutes in. I mean, as we continue in the form of what's the word I'm looking for? As momentum builds around the blockchain space in regulation, I think we're going to see a lot of new laws, a lot of new regulatory efforts by the administration, this one and the future one. I mean, whoever that may be. In the crypto space. And I think, so I'm going to present this question to you, and I really want to know what you think in the comments, because this is a puzzling thing. And I'm going to get a little conspiratorial here, okay, in the sense that it's asking a question. Hopefully I don't get censored or banned or something, because I'm literally just asking a question here. Yeah, I see a lot of stuff all over the internet, man, and I read all of it. Good, bad, ugly, crazy, you name it. I read everything, and that to me is a part of what freedom is the ability to say a bunch of crazy stuff, but also the ability to read a bunch of crazy stuff and to formulate my own opinion on what I think might be happening. I mean, that's kind of anybody that values public perception on any level outside of a main narrative or agenda being pushed on the public and everybody kind of being forced to believe something because that's just what those controlling it all want us to think or believe, which to me is BS. But everybody talks about the World Economic Forum, and I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit here, okay? Make sure that's duly noted. So let's say that the World Economic Forum wants everything, their whole slogan, you'll own nothing and be happy, okay? By 2030 is the ultimate goal. That to me means that we have until 2030 to iron out all of the kinks in crypto, establish a strong regulatory body in crypto that's ultimately going to regulate stable coins, regulate shit coins, get rid of the crap, focus on what's good, likely layer one protocols and strictly utility tokens, along with the CBDC being implemented likely as the one and only, is my guess, stable token. But each country will likely have their own, but something tells me there's going to be a central system to these, like the CBDCs. It's not going to be, I don't know how to explain it, but there's not going to be just one token or central digital token. There are going to be several for different countries and areas, but they'll all somehow go into one, if that makes sense, in terms of the way it's policed and governed and so forth and so on. All right. Now, a lot of people are like, well, how will we own nothing and be happy? And, a lot of what I read says, well, what if there's a big cyber attack? Okay. What if Russia decides to do a big cyber attack because he's fighting this NWO business and he doesn't want any part of it? And he's like, I'm going to shut it down from its root. Okay. At least maybe that's what we end up being told. Who knows? And let's say that were to happen. And then all banking records are wiped. All debts are forgiven because there's no record anymore of who owes who what. But at the same time, we don't know who owns houses. We don't know who owns property. We don't know who owns much of anything. But because of that, and because a lot of people that are in significant debt now have all that debt wiped, they're going to be pretty happy about that. Or will they? If you have no debt, but the debt you took on to make purchases of things that you couldn't afford to pay cash for in the time are now also gone, you own nothing. But are you happy because you have no debt? So my question is if that were the overall plan, right? And I'm just being completely hypothetical and completely just whatever, okay? Not saying that any of this is real or true or anything. I'm just snowballing. And I'm thinking, if that were, because this is what the conspiracy people are throwing around all over the place, right? So if that were true, then how would the elites know what they own? How, if this were an agenda being put out by the elites or the governments or whoever, how would any of these billionaires, how would Bezos or Elon or any of these people, how would the little people, so to speak, have everything wiped, including everything they own or what they have rights to? How would that be gone? But like the elites still maintain record and still maintain ownership and still be able to do what they do. How would the CEO of BlackRock still own his house if there's no record of ownership? We would either all be wiped and start over, or we wouldn't. That's the way I see it. If it were legitimate, is somebody supposed to come in and just hack like low to middle income, low to middle class records and leave the top people in the world alone? Is that how that? I think it would be the opposite, wouldn't you? So I'm not sure. I'm not really sold on that, but I'm curious what your thoughts are. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than that. I'm really curious to see, because a lot of what I'm seeing and a lot of the overall summation of what people expect to happen, and I see the videos on TikTok and I see the videos on YouTube and all over the place, and I see these articles, and I'm like, I know that sounds like an easy way to usher in something and then basically force everyone into the CBDC system. Where, hey, we lost record of everything, but we're going to give you a bunch of CBDC tokens based off of previous records or whatever. Here's what you got now. And we're starting from scratch. And like, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I don't know how that's all supposed to come into fruition or how that's going to work. But I find it very difficult to assume that, some big cyber attack's just going to wipe out the records of everything and everybody in the world, because technically none of us would exist anymore either. Right. So, that draws up another question though, which is actually pretty interesting. And, a lot of people are talking about digital IDs. Okay, digital IDs. Is that supposed to come before or after a cyber attack? Because wouldn't the digital IDs just be useless anyway? I don't know. I've seen so much, and I'm not trying to laugh at the theories. If anything, I just don't want to get banned or anything for talking about it. Okay. But I genuinely have a lot of questions. Let's just put it that way. I don't know what to think. Some of it sounds absolutely nuts. Some of it sounds like it could be potentially plausible. I don't know. I know that we've been getting warnings about, a big attack, the same way we were getting warnings about a pandemic outbreak right before it happened. So, I get questions from people all the time, like, what do you do to prevent or prepare for this or that? And I'm like, and I just had somebody ask me yesterday, like, what's your answer to all this? Like, what can be done? And I'm like, I wish I knew. I legitimately wish I knew. For as much as I read and as much as I see, I have no clear answers on anything. I really don't. You can know the plan and you can know the how of what might happen, but it doesn't mean you have an answer as to how to prepare for yourself or protect yourself or anything. I've had some friends that say, I'm trying to make as much money as I can so I can put it all into hard assets before whatever might happen may happen. I don't know. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what, part of me is a CBDC, better regulation. A lot of this stuff could very much be a good thing. It's just that I feel like anything else, like guns, for example, this is probably just going to flag my video too. It's I think they can be good or bad. It's not necessarily the item itself. It's who is using it and for what purpose. If you're using them to defend and protect your family from people breaking in and that are going to do your family harm, well, then that's a really damn good thing. If you're using them to rob banks, it's obviously a really bad thing. So like anything else, I feel like it's not necessarily the power given, but who's yielding that power. That is the potential problem. So while we might have all these regulations and we might have these new laws and new this and new that, while it could potentially be better for the space, what matters is who is yielding the power associated with those new laws and regulations, and for what purpose. Is it really for the people, by the people, or is it for the five guys smoking stogies in a dark room talking about how they're going to control the world? That's what matters. And so, we just have to kind of wait and see how it's going to play out. And I mean, until then, I have really no idea what to tell anybody, quite frankly. So let's take a look at some of this stuff. These are a couple page segments that hopefully you find interesting. This first one, I mean, their website is kind of wonky. I mean, I don't know if there's supposed to be a giant video here. But I mean, it just loads funny to me. So, and it kind of feels like a website from like, a long time ago, even though I don't think that's the case. I think they started this project in 2017. They're part of the Crypto Climate Accord, apparently, for green computing. And ultimately, this is an artificial intelligence protocol that they've been building for a while, and I guess they're in public sale. AI tech tokens sold to date. Wow. Have they generated $6 million? $6.113 million with 323,000 in the soft cap phase. Soft cap is $8.1 million generated. Wow, that's pretty interesting. So let's take a look. Our intelligence is more than artificial. Solidus AI Tech Limited were established in January of 2021 as the artificial intelligence arm of the parent company Solidus Technologies. Solidus AI Tech is building an eco-friendly high-performance computing data center and an infrastructure as a service platform where governmental authorities, megacorps, SMEs, and professionals will be able to purchase artificial intelligence services seamlessly via our AI tech token. Okay. The problem. A significant problem is the lack of European HPC facilities in the global top 10. The EU consumes 1/3 of HPC resources while only producing 5% of the computing power. European scientists and engineers rely on expensive US supercomputing facilities more than those in the EU by a factor of 10. I guess the question is, why do they need to be, why would any one of these services need to be positioned in Europe? Can't they be global? Can it be anywhere in the world and you can benefit from that anywhere? But I mean, I guess I understand to some degree. At Solidus AI Tech, we have completed the main build of our data center and are ready to commence the installation of our HPC infrastructure, which is based in Europe, Bucharest, which will significantly help to bridge this gap and will enable European companies to obtain their supercomputing power within the EU. I guess, I don't know, data transfer speeds potentially might be a factor when you're talking about, significant AI computing. I guess the shorter the distance and all that, I guess that plays a pretty big role in it. I'm guessing. I really don't know. We expect this facility to be more efficient and of lower cost than in most of the U.S. by operating in Bucharest. We have the benefit of low-cost electricity and fast internet speeds, as well as our intellectual property, and expect to run at about 40% less power consumption than the industry average. That's actually pretty cool. Medicine is obviously a use case example. That's one thing I've been looking into is like, if you were to try and do any research into if you were to start a business today, what would be the most beneficial during a recession or during a depression or anything? And it's all medical, man. It's all medical. And I still am interested. I'd like to start my own lab testing facility. I'm not licensed for any of that. I'm not medical. But you hire people to manage all that and run them. But a place where you can go get tests for whatever, if you need a testosterone test, you can get it done on a corner here. You want STD test, you can get it done on the corner, whatever testing you need. I have a genuine interest in launching something like that. And I found a company but they won't do it in Florida. I don't know why. So more for me to find out. Green computing. We are a supporter of Crypto Climate Accord. The Crypto Climate Accord's overall objective is to decarbonize the global crypto industry by prioritizing climate stewardship and supporting the entire crypto industry's transition to net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2040. The Accord has two specific interim objectives: achieve net zero emissions from electricity consumption for CCA signatories by 2030, which is going to be a big deal. That initiative is definitely growing and taking the world over on more fronts than you think. Develop standards, tools, and technologies with CCA supporters to accelerate the adoption of and verify progress toward 100% renewably powered blockchains by the 2025 UNFCCC Top 30 conference. Holy cow, that's a lot of C's. So that's cool. Tree planting around the building premises. We will plant 128 trees as part of our volunteering program in partnership with the Ministry of Education in Romania. The top 10 National Olympic teenage computer scientists will be invited to join the Solidus Technologies Educational Awards program. There's so much information and it's all on one page. AI-tech.io is this company's website. And I'm super into AI, man. I really am. I'm very much into artificial intelligence because I think, quite frankly, it's going to control everything we do. I mean, we're going to have protocols all over the place that are going, I mean, the Internet of Things protocols, a lot of that stuff I think is going to be driven by AI. And, companies like Solidus could very well play a big role in that as we continue to move forward. Not only that, but, metaverse technology, really? All this stuff is going to be AI driven. We will constantly innovate and utilize new technologies, and we will grow securely. This requires an end-to-end cyber risk strategy driven by our executive leadership team. Our strategy balances the requirements to be secure, vigilant, and resilient with strategic objectives. We implemented our NATO compliant roadmap and governance model to support security priorities in an era where cyber is everywhere. And that is very true. So you had the private sale. This was way back in 2021. Fundraising goal was 5.1 million. That was completed. Pre-sale, that's been completed, and now they're in the public sale phase. Fundraising goal of $25.47 million. That's a lot. The rate will increase by another 5% at 8:30 a.m. UTC, so in about 17 hours from now. So you have to check it out when this video actually publishes. Max token supply of 10 billion. So a lot of these big AI companies, they all have billions of tokens that they put in a supply. 18 decimals, public listing price of 2 cents. So, this I would consider, as a speculator or an investor, potentially a long-term hold. If I were to get in, I'm not saying I am at all, but if I were, I would consider a project like this to be something that would either do well long term or not. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Maximize your profits by staking. So if I were going to go in and there's a way for me to get a yield off of it for holding long term while they continue to expand and develop, that's a good thing. A lot of projects from 2017 didn't offer stuff like this. Solidus will distribute the profits evenly to all investors staking their tokens up until our LAAS platform is live. The profit accrued will be based on each investor's holding. AI tech token holders will maximize the value of their tokens by staking for an efficient factor. A user's EF will be directly proportional to the amount of AI tech tokens that are staked, multiplied by the number of months. Staking will occur via smart contract, while staked AI tokens cannot be traded, sold, or used in any way. To stake AI tokens, okay, this is cool. It's an opportunity to generate a yield until at least they launch their primary platforms. And the roadmap is pretty extensive. So it shows that these guys have laid out everything, where they've been, where they're going, roadmap for 2022. So we're basically getting into this now, lottery airdrop for everybody who decides to stake their tokens, first order place to purchase AI HPC servers and materials. Power grid upgraded to support. So they're basically just loading up to start making the purchase of equipment. So this is super seed capital stage. Okay, so just know that going in. Anything could happen at this stage of a game when it comes to a blockchain company. I'm sure they probably have whitelisting and things like that. There's, I'm sure, going to be AML KYC. If they're not, that would be a little sketch. I'm assuming that they're doing AML KYC. And I know that, that a lot of people don't like that kind of stuff, but that's just the way it is in the crypto space. Vincent Masons, I'm interested what that is. Talbot Capital, Valentis RA, Smart. Okay, subsidiary companies, partners, Ninja Promo, Sanofi, Smart Search, a lot of different groups. And then press, I never really care much about because you can buy all that. So I don't know, check it out. AI-tech.io disclosures down below. If you click this, buy the tech, there you go. So you click that, you set up an account, you need to register. Yeah, I mean, if you're interested in that sort of thing, it should be about 2 cents. Where it goes, nobody knows, but yeah, I mean, through something like this, use case is key. I mean, as use case builds, then there could be profitable. I personally don't know enough about, was it Gnosis, something like this from 2017? Was it Gnosis or Nomer? I can't remember. It's been so long, but check it out if you're interested and you like AI, because that could be, I don't know, something worth your while. Finally on this list is ZoomX Exchange. Now, again, paid segment, but I found it really difficult to find information on this, to be real honest with you. It's a derivatives only exchange, and I'm pretty sure it's based out of Russia. So yeah, I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but it's just been really difficult to find information. Now, from the look of this, I'm going to assume, let's just say that the system and everything looks very familiar to me. So there's contact information down below about ZoomX. Let's take a look at this, because apparently it's from there are people from Binance and some other exchanges that came together to start building this. ZoomX Exchange, established in 2021 in Singapore, is the cryptocurrency trading platform equipped with the high-tech blockchain technology. We believe this technology will prosper our lives and increase the value of assets. Our aim is to provide more customers with a better online cryptocurrency trading environment and to create the wise investment environment. Our value, safety, trust, creation. We offer, ZoomX supports USD Tether, perpetual and inverse perpetual contract trading. We also support over 50 types of altcoin trading pairs, including USDT and Bitcoin trading pairs, to provide our customers with various trading environments. 24-hour deposit withdrawal, maximum 100 times leverage. Oh God, anytime I see 100x, I'm just like, I just want to throw up. The thing of it is like, there are some people out there that they only want to trade 100x. They want that rush of losing everything. I don't know. There are some people that legitimately gamble to lose because they love the rush of losing. I don't understand that. Never been my bag, but yeah, I mean, at 100x leverage, I think even, what is it, like a 0.01% fraction of a drop can liquidate it all. Some people just love to do it. I don't know. And the thing of it is like a lot of exchanges catch flack for offering it, but it's like anything else, man. If everyone else in the derivatives market is offering 100x, you have to too, or you could lose customers. And it's just the way it is. I don't know. It is what it is. This is just not my bag. Acquired U.S. MSB license. ZoomX is committed to global compliance solutions, providing global customers with the most secure and guaranteed services. Okay, this was from 2/28 of 2022. So they must have just got this. Money service business registration status information. All right. So it looks like, I don't know. So they may have registered, but it's not that they haven't. It's not completed, because that could take like a year or 2 years, to my knowledge. Bachelor of Economics and Computer Science from top university. Formerly worked at top investment and fintech companies in the U.S. Brian Liam, former operations manager in Asia at a unicorn company. Former investment manager in Asia at Morgan Stanley. So it's a couple guys that launched an exchange. It's a Singapore base, but I thought I saw something about Russia somewhere at one point. I think I was looking at maybe like old ICO information, or maybe it was a different company. I'm not quite sure. It's just really difficult to find information. If you go to like the Medium, there's not much there. It's like 2 posts. They're both from 2021. So here's what I would suggest for anybody. I mean, read the fact, look through everything. There's a reward system here. I mean, these guys are, whatever they're doing, they're trying to establish themselves as a premier, derivatives exchange. It all looks good. I'll say that. I mean, the system looks nice, the markets, all of that, but they need a social media team, in my opinion. They need somebody putting out content, because that kind of stuff really helps overall in building rapport in a community, and there's just none of that, and that sucks, because when you're doing a segment like this, paid or not, you at least want to have some cool stuff to discuss and talk about. You've got the same bells and whistles ultimately. Let's see what their announcements look like. Okay, so join ZoomX and win up to 500 USD, and then there's flexible staking. Let's take a look at this, because I know that this is a big deal for them. 100% APY. Dear ZoomX users, we have prepared a 100% APY event for all users. Participation method. The first deposit amount, campaign period, $100 to $500 USD, 100% APY, cash in USD $5 or 5. This stuff is never very clear. Rule of activity. I mean, check this out if you're interested. I mean, apparently you can make a deposit and you can generate some extra cash, whether you're trading or not. I'm not 100%. After making the first deposit during the event period, not limited to new or old users, but must complete mobile phone and email verification. There will be no withdrawal records for 20 consecutive days, and the asset balance will be greater than 100 USD tether at the end of the 20 days. So basically, they're saying you can't put it in, you can't put some in and then take it right back out and then qualify, I guess. They want you to let it sit for a little bit. If the user deposits 1,000 USDT tether on March 18th, the end of interest calculation will be unified on April 6th. So, I mean, there's some time for you to get in and potentially earn. I really don't know much else to say about this group, quite frankly. I mean, check it out. Do you know anything about ZoomX? Have you used it? Let me know in the comments below. I'd appreciate it. They didn't even really send me that many notes outside of just information on the APY and their all of that stuff. So it looks like they do have a mobile app, which looks pretty nice. If you're into spot trading though, or like scalping and things like that, you're not going to spot trade because it's basically a derivatives only exchange. This is only at leverage. Me personally, when I was messing around with leverage, I never messed with anything more than like 10x. And I put out a whole bunch of stuff showing like, what it's like to trade at 10x compared to like 100x. If I go to their Twitter, this was February 17th where they started talking about $500 airdrop, the chance to win a $500 airdrop, that sort of thing. Check out their Twitter if you want. They've been around since November 2021 is when they joined Twitter. There's about 6,000 followers. So I will say that it seems like open interest is what's ultimately controlling what's going on in the market right now. So I don't know how much of a role ZoomX plays in that. But check it out. I mean, it's a paid segment. I'd love to be able to say more. I just don't know what else to say other than if you're into, trading at leverage and you can legally trade on a platform like this, maybe it's worth your while. I mean, I'm just here to let you know it exists. So it exists. go check it out if you're interested. Always be super careful trading at leverage. It is a tool that traders and investors have been using in traditional markets for years and years and years. And I know that there's a big stigma about it because of crypto, and a lot of it is because crypto is so volatile that it's very easy to either make a fortune or get liquidated in an instant. And so it's not anything that I ever really tell people, hey, sign up with my thing and you can join and like make a bunch of money. I don't. They asked me to set up a referral program, and I'm like, I'm not doing that because that's not what I'm doing. I'm here to let people know, hey, this is another platform that exists. Do your own research. Go find out if it's something that you want to use. It's really up to them, to inspire you to take action. Not really me. I'm just here to let you know it's there, and it's there. So on that note, make sure you check out the Crow node. I really want to see this start to grow again. I mean, 21 million at live stake. Come on, folks, where are you at? I know that there's a lot of you out there that still watch this channel, and you've got a lot of Cardano because I've been talking about it since 2017. I'd really like to see that back home. Most definitely. And don't forget, Bitcoin 2022, April 6th through the 9th, Miami Beach. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to this party, Miami Vibes, on Wednesday night. I'm really looking forward to this. Chances are I might be a little tipsy at this party, so don't make any sudden moves. I'm kidding. 55 minutes. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you're still watching this video. I have been just going nuts trying to figure out if I should do long form interviews, like in-person long form interviews. And if I do, I've already ordered more equipment. I've got a couple cameras coming. I've got a couple microphones. I'm trying to figure out what would be the best layout, what best way to set up the studio so that I can do that with someone else. I think my biggest concern about doing long form interviews face to face is getting people here, because I haven't done that. I don't have a reputation for doing that kind of thing yet. I sent a message over to Charles asking him if he'd be interested in being the first guest. He hasn't responded, which tells me no. And so I'm not really sure. It's something I really want to do. I want to sit down with some scotch, man, and just have a conversation. I hate doing Zoom interviews. I hate them. I feel like they're uninspiring. They're really not even very educational. You don't really learn all that much about the individual, the person, their goals, their objectives. It's always kind of like a pitch show. And that's not what I want to do. I want to have conversations with people that I find are interesting. And I hate to say it, but I mean, Joe Rogan did it first, but he does it right. I mean, he engages in conversation with people that he just finds interesting for whatever reason. It could be about anything. It could be about watching grass grow. It could be about space. It could be about stocks. It could be about, anything, medical, medicine, anything in the world. And that's kind of what I want to do. Granted, I'm more interested in leaning towards, some of the conspiracy side of things, UFOs and crypto and technology, artificial intelligence, metaverse, basically everything that I see encompassing our future. I would love to talk to an economist. I would love to sit down and really discuss like where our economy is and where we might be heading and how we can kind of help protect ourselves from sudden changes or shifts in the way the world is moving. A lot of that kind of stuff. Man, military people. I love, like, my favorite show right now, and has been for quite some time, is SEAL Team on CBS. I absolutely love and adore the show. It's super emotional. It's high intensity. It's high action. It goes into everybody's family life and how difficult it is. I mean, just the sacrifice of these people. It's beyond measure. And I really, really respect that. And it's like, there was a case of stolen valor and Sonny shoving this douchebag around the bar. I'm like, get him, Sonny. And it's like this guy's just trying to get laid by acting like he's a Navy SEAL, right? And it's like, some people might look at that and think, that's not a big deal, but that is a big deal, man. When you're out there and you're fighting and you watch your brothers die or get shot up or blown up, and then you got some asshole in a bar pretending to basically live that life and make those sacrifices so he can get laid. paid, yeah, he deserves to get his ass stomped. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's true. And that's the way I look at it. And it covers so many issues. It covers so many different topics in the military. And it's not just about SEALs. It's about military life and the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows. It's just so damn good. If you're not watching it yet, even if you're not like a big like military buff, because I'm not, like, I don't own any camo, you know what I mean? I'm not a military buff, but I think it's the humanity of this show that's captured my interest, and I absolutely love it. And I watch it every night when I'm going to sleep, man. I fall asleep watching it, and it's really good. So check it out. And if you happen to be a Navy SEAL, man, I'd love to talk to you. Like, I would love to do an interview with some of you guys. Like, you know, I don't know. I find that world fascinating. And, you know, being 7 foot tall, I was basically just too tall to even get in the military. I went in, I tried to enlist in the Marine Corps when I was real young, and they were like, dude, you're too tall for what you want to do. Like, there's just no way that would ever work. And so my buddy ended up joining and I didn't. And, you know, so yeah, I don't know. There's just so many things. It's like booking people. You know, I would probably need help, like booking guests and just getting that done. There's so much to it, but I really would like to. I'd like to be able to just like ramble on and talk to somebody, or honestly just inspire somebody else to ramble on for a change. Let me just listen and get the views. I don't know. So let me know in the comments. I really do appreciate it. I do read through them if you haven't noticed, because often I'm just kind of trying to get rid of all the spam impersonators that are trying to be me and get you to join their WhatsApp so you can go and trade their Bitcoins with their big advisor and their big scam people. I don't know. Anyway, all the disclosures are in the description below. Thanks for joining me. It's Monday. Let's have a good, productive week. I do have a book that I am launching, hopefully by the end of this week. It's in magazine format. It's about 52 pages with a lot of really cool stuff. And I've sent it to some testers, and they're like, dude, this is the coolest thing you've done yet. And I'm like, I hope so, because I've been grinding this thing out, man, like nobody else. So, but that'll be, I'll talk about that in a video. And until next time, guys, grow your coins. I'll see you again soon. To the moon.